So about 24 hours after the Phillies, in my estimation, saved their season with that comeback victory over the Toronto Blue Jays, we come out there and watch our pitching staff, led by Ranger Suarez, throw a gem against the Atlanta Braves. 1-0 victory over the Braves tonight at the bank. And Ma, look what I found here in the studio with me. Big Al joining me. Al, what's up? And are you back on the train, Al, or did you ever get off, or where are you standing on the Phillies right now?
Listen, I've been on the train. I mean, can I say I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and tell you I haven't been nervous and worried about the possibility of postseason baseball slipping through our fingers once again. That would be a bold-faced lie. So I'm not going to do that to you or the listeners. But I have not been off the train. I am getting ready tomorrow to purchase my postseason ticket.
With absolutely no home playoff games guaranteed, Al's going out to buy his playoff tickets. Phillies
Well,
fans, Phillies
what's
Nation, you need to take heed.
what's nice about it is you buy if they now I bought tickets when they were here when we were in the World Series last in 2008 and 9. Um, and the way they do it is they make you buy all your tickets up front, even if there's not four games or at home, or if there is, you pay for them up front, and you get reimbursed if it doesn't happen. So I actually have to pay for two tickets for each possible home game, but they will reimburse me for whatever happens or does not happen, I should say.
So, for example, if they don't get out of the first round, because right now they're not going to host the first round series, they're going to have to go on the road. It's going to be either in St. Louis or in New York, hopefully New York. And they'll play 3 games there. Now, if they don't make it into the second round, you'll get reimbursed for those tickets, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not a bad deal. I'll take it. Oh, by the way, I'm Matty B. For those of you who don't know who I am, and you're watching the Phightins Phinal here on the Edge of Philly Sports, and with me, Big Al, and we're talking about some Phillies Braves 1-0 victory. And as I was on this program, this very, very, very show last night, talking about how the season was literally, in my opinion, hanging in the balance in the 8th inning last night, and the Phillies kind of woke up and won a game that they needed to win. They needed to win it for so many reasons. They had to get off that 5-game losing streak. They had to get a victory over a team that was over 500, for God's sakes, and they had to kind of acquire themselves as a playoff team. And then tonight, not only did they go out and answer the bell, but Ranger Suarez continues to boggle the mind, Al, as a pitcher. If you were Rob Thompson getting ready to build your playoff starting rotation, does Ranger Suarez have a place in it?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. Okay. Without hesitation. I'm not saying he's your number 1 or number 2, but definitely 3 or 4 conversation. Well, what do you got?
Yeah.
I mean, Wheeler looked good last night for what we saw from him. So hopefully he'll be able to get back and, dazzle us with his 6, if possible, or 7, or more. Come closer to playoff time. Aaron Nola, he's your 2 at this point. I guess Ranger would be 4. Yeah.
So you got Wheeler, Nola, and you're skipping over 3 to go to 4. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out. How I'm going to do it.
Doing that. Don't tell me Bailey Falter either. I mean, he's a good news story, but
listen. Right now, he's your number 3. Tell me he's not. Show me reason why he is not your number 3. Right now. Who's your number 3?
Okay, it's because we sent a former first overall draft pick to the Anaheim Angels for our number 3, and right now he's currently in the bullpen. So I got your point here, but is that the hill you want to die on? Is the Bailey Falter as your number 3 starter in a playoff rotation? Not to say that you're wrong. I'm just wondering if that's really what we what we should be doing here. I mean, in your rationale, should Ranger be not the 3 and Falter the 4?
It's 3 or 4. I mean, the problem with him is we saw today, he came close to it. He has that third time around. Ranger gets kind of blows up a little bit. It's like they get the tape on him, and then he kind of buckles. Luckily, this defense stand proud behind him, and he didn't get himself into too much trouble, but enough to make your hair stand on the back of your head. Bailey Falter hasn't done that. I mean, at least over the last starts since late July, early August. So I mean, it's if all intents and purposes, if you're riding your hot hand, belly fallers, your hot hand.
I guess that picture has not yet be painted, and I guess we're going to have to wait for that. But on Ranger Suarez's night, he did go 6 very strong innings, as you mentioned. He kind of cracked a little bit through that third time. Gave up 5 hits, no runs, struck out 4, and he walked 2. Not setting the world on fire, Al, but we don't ask our number 5 starter to do that. No team should. He's pitched very effective. 10 wins now on the season, 10-5. Zach Eflin came in and got the hold. Now, Zach Eflin to me is a wild card. I don't think Zach Eflin's going to be in the bullpen for the playoffs. I think he's the starting pitching in the playoffs. I honestly do.
I think he does because of lack of choices, maybe. I mean, Syndergaard is not giving you any warm and fuzzy feelings in any which way. So why not? I mean, I would imagine he isn't. I mean, you don't need that deep of a bullpen, hopefully. You're not doing bullpen games in the playoffs. You have Syndergaard in there now. You have
you know the deal with Syndergaard, right? He is not pitching other than coming in for Zach Wheeler. That's all he's doing. That's when he'll come in. He will not pitch any time other than relieving Zach Wheeler. That is the deal with him right now. Did you know that, right?
I know that. I know they're a tandem, but that can change. That's not written in stone in any which way. I mean, it is what it is.
I like to call them Noack Wheeler Garden. That's the new Phillies pitcher that we got now coming out there in that role. So 1-0 victory over the Braves tonight, Al. Let's go over this real quick line tonight. The Phillies would go with the Braves would finish with no runs on 6 hits, and the Phillies 1 run on 6 hits. The only offense to speak of came way back in the second inning when Matt Verling, who continues to swing a very hot stick, would knock in JT to make it 1-0, and that's your final score tonight. 1-0 offensively for the Phillies. Other than the Matt Verling offense, that was pretty much it. But I do want to talk to you about 2 players currently in this lineup here that I am having my concerns about, and then 2 players that I'm actually pretty happy the way they've been playing lately. I'm going to start, of course, with the ones that I am concerned with, and let's go right to the reigning National League MVP, Bryce Harper. Another 0-for night tonight. To one point where I guess Fox keyed in on the fact that he was using Matt Verling's bat now. Is Bryce Harper getting desperate? Are we getting desperate? What's going to have to give here to get Bryce Harper back into the NV3 mode?
I mean, listen, yeah, guys in baseball, they try changing things, the stance, this, that, use another bat, whatever it is that makes baseball. That's just what it is. Very, very, superstitious. They try different things. I don't know why I'm not worried about Harper of all people. I mean, Rhys Hoskins goes cold, Real Muto goes cold, Segura goes cold. Yeah, I'm going to get a little nervous because I don't know if and when they can snap out that cold snap. Him, I'm not worried about. I think he'll get out of it. It may not come until October, but these are the kind of games we got to get used to. These are the kind of games that we're going to be used to. We are in playoff mode right now. Yep. And by playoff mode, I mean is every game's going to be like a playoff game. I don't care if you're playing the Braves or if you're playing the Nationals. It is going to be playoff mode. So, guys, buckle in. If you're looking for an easy win, you might get yourself a nice little dessert, little cherry on top type game, as I like to call it. But this is what your dinner's going to be. These are the vegetables your mom's going to cram down your throat before you get to your ice cream. You got to deal with these type of games. If you don't like it, get out. If it's too hot, get out of the kitchen. This is baseball. This is baseball in September. Listen, I saw the graphic the other night. Me and Joe Sheeran, we talked about it on EOP Live last night. And yeah, over the last 5 years, there has been 5 slides. They went 9 straight losses, or 10 losses, or 9 out of 10, 8 out of 9. Right towards the end, they had 2020 was famous. They only had to win 1 game out of 7 and couldn't do it. It happens. But this is what you signed up for when you signed up for this team. For when you became a fan of this team. You tell me when it was easy being a Phillies fan.
The early 80s.
20 I mean, if you're my age and you're like really remembering 2010, 2011 during the regular season, you were in every game. You felt like there was not a game, even if you're down 8 runs, you could win it still. But other than that, early 90s, ever since 94 and on, man,
Yeah.
It hasn't been easy. I don't know why everybody thinks it's going to be easy. Yes, I understand. Get mad, get upset. Like when they lose bad games, you see a guy like Stott have a couple bad games in a row defensively, which is not like him to do. Get mad at him or get upset with him, but don't get mad. Don't get mad at the game. This is the game you're playing. Okay. I mean, like take the Eagles right now. They're 2-0, could be 3-0, could be 5-0 in 5 games. We don't know. But do you expect this season to be easy in any Philly sport? No, I don't. Especially in baseball, especially when there's 162 games. Every game's going to be tough, but now it's magnified because you know what? You lost a game here. Like take for instance that last Marlins game when they lost the sweep, right? Kind of haunting us a little bit, right?
Yeah.
That sweep would have made a little bit of a difference. Take a little sting out of it from that loss from the Braves last time. That sweep from the Braves, all that stuff would have stung a little less. That first Braves game when it just seemed like it set the pace for the whole weekend after they blew the lead, and then we got swept. And I get it. Then that Blue Jays game, 18-11 or whatever it was. If I told you, hey Matt, they're scoring 11 points, 11 runs tonight, what are you going to say? Victory, right? You're in the back of your head. That's a win. But guess what, guys? It's not going to be easy. So buckle the fuck up. Yeah, I dropped an F-bomb on it. Buckle up.
So, all right, are you done? Can you hop down off the soapbox? I mean,
Okay.
can
All right.
all right.
The floor is yours, sir.
All right. So I agree with everything you're saying. It's 162 games, and these are the thoughts that are going to keep us warm in the winter when we're looking towards 2023 and we're remembering all those great nights and frustrating nights and all that. But since August 29th out, this team has gone 10-12. Okay.
Okay.
And in that span, they've lost some. They got that debacle in Arizona where they went out there and couldn't keep games in the single digits. The San Francisco series, which was very frustrating. And then you mentioned the Nationals, the Marlins, and then the Braves. I think the Braves series last weekend to me was really frustrating. And this is coming from somebody who's watched a lot of Phillies baseball this year. Was because we had an opportunity, yes, an outside one. One last run at the National League East. Maybe I'm the only one who cared about that. Maybe the Phillies weren't looking in that direction. But we had 7 games at hand with the Braves starting last weekend. And they went out and they played some really uninspired baseball. And yet the lack of change, Rob Thompson's still going with the same lineup. The one tweak to the lineup that he did was he put Brandon Marsh in the 5 hole on Sunday. I don't know in what universe Brandon Marsh should be batting 5th. So I think it's the frustration, and from my point, to where I think this team could be better, but yet they consistently do not reach that mark. And I see it sometimes in stubbornness. Kyle Schwarber should not be leading off anymore. That experiment should have been over months ago. And I think that might be our downfall this year is our unwillingness to change or to kind of go out and fix this. So I think that's where I'm at with this team. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's kind of making adjustments in August, in July, in June is very simple. Again, we're in September. Everything is magnified. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to make an adjustment that's going to really upset the apple cart. Like, I was even thinking last night, I mean, Veerling has been a pretty solid hitter, not just over the last couple nights, but I was just looking at the other night. I was like, he's like batting like 290, 300, a little over 3 over the last 3 weeks, whatever it was. His clutch hitting has been coming in. So why not have him in the leadoff if you're going to have him in the lineup almost every night, if not every night? I get it, but at the same time, I get not making drastic changes because that's what's going to happen. And hey, Michael, how you doing, bud? Hey, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I like to hear. He's got good questions here.
Yeah, we're going to field that one here in a second.
Go ahead, go.
No, so one more last thing about the leadoff thing and all that. I think Joe Marks kind of hit it. And I hate to give him props, but he knows what he's talking about sometimes. He said a long time ago. Yeah, he said this a long time ago that Alec Bohm should potentially be the leadoff hitter for this team, and the Phillies never explored that. It might be too late.
They did, but I think that was during pre-Rob Thompson.
Oh yeah, okay, but it was maybe a series or two.
Dark Girardi days.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think, okay, so let me ask you this, and we'll move on to Michael's question because it's a real good one that I want to get to. If you're Dave Dombrowski, is Kyle Schwarber your leadoff hitter in 2023?
No. No. It's Turner. He'll be here. He'll be a Philly, and he will be. No, that's not This isn't continuing past this year. I don't think so. I'm honestly surprised it's continued this long. But once again, I think you don't upset the apple cart in some ways. Everybody wants changes made, and then okay, then that works for a little while, and then it doesn't work. Then you're gonna make changes again, and it just keeps kind of like making changes for the sake of changes.
Yeah, and on the Michael's question, because this is kind of was brought up, I think you guys brought it up, or somebody brought it up recently. And Michael asked another question. I know Bryce is batting, but do you think his swing is killing him to swing? But he'll never tell. But I think it's showing. That's a very interesting question, and the UCL thing doesn't just heal. I mean, you're in the medical profession, you know that thing is not going to go away on its own. It needs surgery. I don't. Do you think Michael has something to this? Do you think maybe he is in some pain right now?
I think me and Joe brought this up again Wednesday or yesterday, and we said, maybe he's hurting more than he thinks, and he's trying to make up for it. So the power is lacking. But he's still trying to hit for power. Instead of just trying to do like what Matt Vierling's been doing and Gunthry's been doing, and these young guys have been doing, it's just trying to put bat on ball. And just don't have to be the hero. Just don't be the guy that gets out every time. The man's got more pressure on his shoulders than anybody else. Now he gets paid handsomely for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to bed at night feeling bad for Bryce Harper, but at the same time, he probably puts more pressure on him than these 60,000 fans that could be in that in that stadium, and the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of fans at home watching. And even two knuckleheads going on a finals game after the game. He's got way more pressure than anybody, and he's putting it on himself. I think personally, I think if he is that bad, he'll finally say something at one point, or maybe say, "Give me a day off. Give me a day off. Let me take a break." That's the one thing he didn't do that. Segura kind of did. They kind of eased him in. They gave him he worked 2 days, took a day off. Worked 3 days, took a day off. Worked 4 days, took a day off. He didn't do that. So maybe he needs a little break, and they're just not willing to do it right now in this Braves series.
Yeah, but here's an interesting graphic that MLB Network released about a week ago. This is your 2023 tentative Team USA World Baseball Classic roster. Take a look in the outfielder column there. Whose name do you see under Mookie Betts?
Bryce Harper.
So, Al, he's going to get surgery to repair his UCL joint sometime, say, in November, and be ready for a baseball
the minute this season ends, he'll be going under the knife.
And he'll be in a baseball tournament in early March.
I think that's a pipe dream. You can replace that. I mean, that's easily replaced.
Yeah. But my point is this. It's going to have to be dealt with in the offseason, correct? There's no pain management. There's no, I'm going to be your permanent DH. There's got to be a surgery done, right?
I mean, at the very least, so here's my thing. He had the PRP. Could they do stem cell with him? Could be something the next level. I don't know. But I think somebody's going to have to finally say, listen, man, you got to nut up or shut up. And there's no guarantee with these other treatments. And if you want to get an idea of when you're going to be back, do the surgery and do it now. And if that injury in San Diego in June was probably a little bit more, extensive, probably would have had it then.
Yeah, and if maybe we weren't kind of resurging at that time, potentially of having it.
Yeah, or if we were starting to slump and they saw like there's, we were just, going to be sellers and not buyers.
Back then too, I think we talked about it at that point too.
I always said if you're trying to look for like that silver lining in a dark moment, if he had to have the surgery then, now it would suck that we wouldn't be having cool postseason conversations right now. But even then, like, there's no reason to say they wouldn't be in the postseason right now. It's not like Bryce Harper, since he's got hurt, has been a driving force for them to stay alive. But it would kind of, I would feel so bad for him though. I would feel bad for the guy's like, I just want to get to the postseason, and then we go to the postseason for the first time in a decade, and he can't join us.
Yeah. Now, say he does have the surgery in mid October.
Okay.
What, June?
If it is
to play right field.
If it is Tommy John surgery, if you're saying mid October, 6 months brings you to March. 9 months brings you to June. I think they would be closer to June.
So to have Bryce Harper play right field in 2023, if it's Tommy John surgery, we're looking at back end of the first half of the 2023 season.
It could even be the second half. It depends on what they have to do. If it's full blown on Tommy John surgery, the difference with him, it's not a pitcher who has to have constant velocity, constantly. He's a guy you could put in the DH and not have him out in the right field all the time.
Yeah.
So he could probably get back sooner and play in right field before, if he was pitching.
Yeah.
And like I said, if this is full blown Tommy John surgery, now things are different when they used to be. They kind of do surgery now where they do the PRP and the surgery. So while they're opening the person up, they've been doing this with spine surgery with a lot of athletes too. They spray the PRP on, or the stem cell on they do everything before they sew them up. They spray it down, inject it into the areas, and then sew them up so it heals faster.
Right.
But that still doesn't. That's no guarantee anywhere. I mean, I do PRP and stem cell every day, almost. So yeah, I know.
I guess that's a conversation that we'll have to use for the hot stove come this winter.
Yeah.
But we have a playoff chase, and let's take a look around Major League Baseball tonight and see where we were at and see if any ground was made or any ground was lost. Let's kind of focus in on two games because that's really what it comes down to now. It's the Padres and the Brewers, and right now the Padres they've lost. They fell to the Cardinals 5-4. And the Brewers won 5-1 over the Reds. So if you're looking at it from a standings point, we're now a half a game behind those Padres, and now a full 3 games ahead of the Brewers. And the Phillies' magic number is 2.5 remaining ahead of the Brewers, and a magic number of 10 games. Al, are you willing to say that the Phillies are making the playoffs, or is this going to come down to, the last couple weeks?
The fact that they've held off from being able to be swept this weekend makes me feel more confident to say they're going to be in the playoffs. If not to say that one out of these 3 games is enough to make me feel happy. No, but the fact that we won the first game, it gives us 2 games to try to win the series. And, we're going to be on the road come after this. This is the last homestand, guys.
Yep.
So get your tickets in now. Go watch your Phillies, because come Monday, the Phillies will not be back in Citizens Bank Park outside of making out of the first round of the playoffs. So
the next regular season game at the Bank is April 5th, 2023 against the Reds. So
yeah. If
I said regular season. Yeah.
Yes, regular season. Yes. So hey guys, today's Amanda's 40th. Can you give her a shout out? Yes. Happy birthday, Amanda. You are a trooper for putting up with that knucklehead.
Happy birthday, Amanda. She's not a Cowboys fan, is she?
Well, she's a fan of a Cowboy fan, so that's like kind of 2 degrees of cowboyness.
That's okay.
So happy 40th. She is. I would say you're a lucky man, Dave. You're the lucky person. She charity work. I see this as charity work.
Oh man.
Just kidding, Dave. Yeah. I said happy birthday.
I echo the sentiment. Happy birthday, Amanda. 40 years old. I will be 40 in 10 years. So, when I get to that plateau, I'm sure.
I know, man. Being 25 is not easy.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. So you never want to grow old.
No. Well, I always say if you go by how old I am, subtract the amount how old my wife thinks I am, I'm 25.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm there.
Wow. So last night, as you mentioned, we're wrapping up the home slate. The Phillies are going to finish the season unprecedentedly. I'm going to say it, 10 games on the road, 3 games in Chicago, then a 4-game series in the Nationals, a program doubleheader in that National series. It is the last game of the Nationals trying to make up that from that first series that was lost way back in March because of the lockout. And then, of course, the Astros looming at the very end of the season, which is a series that the Phillies should have started the season with, but was lost to the lockout. Obviously, the Astros are not going to be the Astros then. They're going to be trying to get to the postseason right now. But 10 games, Al, does that scare you a little bit? The Phillies going to finish up with 10 games on the road, or is it better maybe in retrospect that they're going to be on the road for the final 10?
They've played better on the road.
Yeah.
So I guess in the numbers game, it's better. That's just the way it works out. The fact that four of these games are going to be against the Nationals bodes very well for us because, in my eyes, that's probably a three-win easily series. So that leaves 7 games to make. You got 3 more that are against the Cubs in Chicago. Cubs could try to play spoiler, but I still think they win the series. On paper, this should work out. Like you said, the hardest team they have left is Houston. But at that point, it depends what Houston's playing for. So if Houston has everything locked up and winning doesn't matter, I have a feeling you're going to see some guys called up to pitch, some guys called up to play in the outfield, and they're not going to risk getting anybody hurt because they have a legitimate chance.
So with that being said, let's take a look right now. Currently, the Mets, Braves have clinched playoff spots. The Dodgers have clinched a spot, and they've also clinched their division. And the Astros have clinched the AL West as well. But there is that battle for the number 1 overall seed going on between the Astros and the Yankees in the American League. You're right. I think it does all come down to that aspect of whether or not the Astros have anything to play for at all. I don't like finishing the season on the road 10 games. That's a lot of games to be finishing up.
Listen, it's literally unprecedented, and it might be something that becomes more precedented with the new way they're going to be working everybody's schedule in. Trying to get you to play every team in Major League Baseball. So that means less of the Gannats and Mets and all our divisional foes, a few less, and then more against. That means you'll be seeing you will be definitely seeing the Astros, but you'll also definitely be seeing the Yankees and the Blue Jays, and that there'll be no, hey, what AL teams are we seeing this year? You're seeing them all.
Yeah, no, and I think the way they worked out the schedule, I took a look at it. It's 2 less series against our divisional foes, so it's not goes from 8 to 6 essentially. So not too drastic there. I'm okay with that, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, the fact that if we can survive this and if we win the Brave series, I'm saying just the series, not sweep, but if we win the Brave series, that means we winning 1 more game. Or no, 2 more games, right? Because we have 4 games against them. So splitting this series, I guess. So I get 2 out of here,
Yeah,
2 out of here, 2 out of Chicago, 3 or 4 out of the Nats. I mean, that locks you up right there, right? There's your 10.
yeah, and that's definitely doable. That is definitely
Yeah.
doable. I think a sweep is just a split with the Braves, 2 out of 3 against the Cubs, and 3 out of 4 against the Nationals. Makes the Houston series mute for both teams. So yeah, that would be the best case scenario. Absolutely.
And on top of it, who are the Braves playing next?
The Braves are playing. I'll tell you that right
The
now.
Mets.
They are playing the Mets. Yes,
They're going to the Mets. So I mean, I'm not trying to look ahead, but that means Sunday's game could kind of be a gimme to the Phillies because they're going to be more focused in playing to the Mets. They play them on Monday, right?
they play them on Monday.
So that means there's no getaway day for them. So maybe it's a getaway game for them. So it'd be nice if they can take one of these next 2 games, either tomorrow or Saturday. I know all eyes will be on DC for the Eagles game come Sunday in the Eagles Stadium. Or it's actually Fan Appreciation Day on that Sunday. So it's going to be a sad Fan Appreciation Day come Sunday, knowing what's going on. Because 1,200 fans will be in there with Philly Sports Trips, me being one of them.
Yeah, a lot of blue chairs attending Fan Appreciation Day at the bank. Tomorrow night, though, the Phillies will be back at it 7:05 at the bank. Aaron Nola, 9-12, 3.38 ERA against Jake Ordonez, 5-5, 4.04. Al, I know I'm going to tell you this from my standpoint. I need to see a big game from Aaron Nola tomorrow. I need that. I need that right now from him. I need this in a lot of different ways. 1, we need to keep winning, and 2, I need him to put to sleep this September crap with him. And tomorrow, to me, will go a long way if I get 7 3-hit 2-run ball from Aaron Nola.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, this could be the biggest game leading up to the postseason for him.
Yeah.
I mean, biggest matchup, I should say.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, we need this team to feel like they did in July and into August. They need to feel that way, like they were loose. And I think you were one of these people, but I'm going to ask. I mean, I know a lot of people were kind of poo-pooing seeing Harper and a lot of the Phillies at the Eagles game.
Why was I
okay.
one of those people?
Huh?
I
Like you were upset to see that.
I was.
I'm not. Listen, man. I always kind of make that joke. Like I see a team who struggles, they need to go get in a bar fight together and get arrested together. Well, it's not going to happen. But I like the fact that first part that this city's teams, like this is the closest these cities teams I've ever seen them. Sans the Flyers because nobody can even like the Flyers right now. I mean, there's no lovable character there unless Gritty's coming to the stadium. But I mean, it was nice to see James Harden there. It was nice to see Harper and Hoskins, and then kind of get. Do you know why? Here's the other thing. Here's how I look at it. This is my point of view, guys. This could be you. Come October, I know a lot of people. The stadium hasn't been filled, and maybe even if this team gets a playoff game in Citizens Bank Park, this could be you. A full bowl. This echoing scream for Philly for you guys. So you guys had a taste of what you could have. Now work for it. Go get it.
Okay, now I'm going to respond to that because I did mention on my show the other night that I did have problems with this, especially the way the Phillies played.
I knew you felt that way.
Especially over the way the Phillies played over the weekend against the Braves. And to me, I'm sorry that I say it like this, but it may not come out the right way. But it's on a level of pandering for me. Everything from the Nick Sirianni stuff with his T-shirts, and then the Bryce Harper. Was he in Mike Trout's seats, by the way? Was that what I heard, or was that just?
I heard that Mike Trout forwarded him his tickets. I don't know how true that was, but I would imagine that was where that is where he normally sits.
And then to cap it all off, you got Travis Kelce sitting up there wearing an Eagles gear, pounding a beer on national television.
So I did talk to Joe about that. So cool. Listen, let's not say seeing Travis Kelce in the Eagles jersey isn't a pretty sweet sight. Even though it was
not from
a
fan.
No,
right.
But I'm saying, like, I said to Joe, I said to him, I'm like, what about was the other way around? What about you saw Kelce,
exactly,
Kelce in a Chiefs jersey out in Kansas City? I mean, I wouldn't like it, but I get over it. I guess Kelce would be one of the few guys on his team who can get away with it, where I wouldn't be upset about it. I mean, I would, as long as it's not a Cowboys hat, or something like that. But I thought it was funny as all hell. I'm surprised. It just goes to show you how these teams don't care. These fans don't care. Phillies are we're listen, we're nuts. I know we're nuts. We're flipping crazy. But that's what makes us us. We wouldn't be worth talking about. How often does the national media talk about the Milwaukee fans, or the you get a couple Chicago fans here and there, but nobody talks about them. The Tampa Bay fans, ooh, New England fans. How often, like over the last or more, decade or more, you saw every Thursday night football, you're watching it, and they're always talking about New England fans and how loud they are, and you see them pounding their chest because they got so many Super Bowl parades that they actually came up with a street by itself just to make its own route, But now it's like, does New England have fans, or do they all move south to go to Tampa Bay? We're real. This is what we are. This is why we get upset when we get swept by the Braves. This is why I go to work and my head's not in the right place. And I'm making stupid, like writing things the wrong date down. Just because I'm so pissed off about it. How my wife knows, oh God, the Eagles lost. He's gonna be a freaking peach for the next 48 hours. Like they have to deal with that. That's what makes, it's a little nuts, but it also is what makes us great.
It makes us great, and Big Mike checks in with, "Hey boys, great win tonight." It absolutely, most certainly.
Mike, I'm going to miss you on Saturday. You're leaving me alone with the Gambler on Saturday afternoon.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I saw that. You guys are going to be. He had asked me to come on do that. I got to leave town. I would do it, but I got to go out of town. I don't think I ever told him to do it.
Huh?
I don't. So he asked me earlier in the week, the Gobbler, if I wanted to come in the studio Saturday, and I never responded. I just remembered that I never responded back.
Whoops. I know, Mike. I know. I'll miss you, bro.
Pat, if you're out there, man, I didn't mean to blow you off, brother. I totally forgot about it, man. I got to go out of town, but I would have if I. Oh wow, man, I feel bad now.
But don't worry, he's got your boy Kyle Quinn calling in to talk about Eagles.
Hey, what was the deal with Kyle tonight? Was he doing the show from a cave? I mean,
he had some technical difficulties. You think the producer guy would have everything just like big old WIB producer would have everything like perfect, but
Yeah.
We won't hold it against them.
I'm
Maybe,
looking at
maybe how we didn't pay him enough for a good laptop. I don't know what to tell you.
yeah, maybe, yeah, there you go. Hey, we'll be hanging out Sunday. Yeah, you
That's
guys
right.
are definitely going to be
Yep.
going there on Sunday. The trip to FedEx Field to watch the Commanders play. 1,200, is it? 20 buses? Is that the number?
1,200 fans for the what's it, tailgate. 15 buses leaving from the Jetro, and then there could be like another 5 leaving from the Northeast and a couple from Jersey, South Jersey somewhere. But yeah, I'll be running the EOP bus. Mike will be on there with me. Joey Sheeran will be on there with me. It will be a good time, and I'm bringing these with me because I know you. Are you doing any of the post games or pre games? With
So I
Lines?
told Freddie I would do post game remote. I'm going to be on the road, but I would do the post game with him. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know about on the way home or the post, but a little pregame. I'm gonna be down there. If I get a good connection on it, so I can show everybody the crowd and see what everything's like during the pregame, you might see me pop on for a few moments.
So they got you to run the bus? Is that you're doing that?
Yeah, they got me to do it.
Little transparency. I was supposed to do that, and something came up last minute that I couldn't do it, and I really feel bad about it because it was a great opportunity.
I feel bad for you, man. I wanted you to be with us.
Yeah, man. All right, but family calls. I got to go out to Ohio.
Listen, family first. What's he say? What did he say here? We go into hell. Dude, no, we're bringing the hell. Like we're tearing DC down, man. FedEx Field's already tearing itself down. We're just gonna pull the string that pulls it the rest of the way down.
All right, let's do that's a good segue out. Let's get into some bill paying. I got to do that here. This is of course the schedule here on EOP tonight. Tonight's Thursday. If you were tuned in, you got a chance to see Kyle Quinn broadcasting from a cave, doing the Birds IQ podcast for only 20 minutes. But Kyle's really good. He does no matter how much.
He usually does a very good show. That's why it sucks that he couldn't.
And you can hear in his voice he was pissed off about something. You could hear he was frustrated.
Yeah.
I could definitely hear that. Also, the round mound, the attacking third, which was earlier. Then, of course, you guys are watching me and Big Al with the Phightins Phinal. Tomorrow, some chalk talk, Kelly Green hour, and then, of course, me again, the Phightins Phinal after the Phillies and Braves. And don't forget Sunday pregame, halftime, and postgame coverage of the Eagles Commanders game here on EOP. And if you're in the Delco area and you need to go to a bar, you should go to the only bar in Delco, Dolan's, and tell them that we sent you down there. And once again, if you guys are going to DC, or if you're just kind of like going to got plans for a great weekend and things kind of go south, and you have some workman's comp, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law, Dave Cherry is the guy to call. 610-560-0300. Tell them the boys at EOP sent you. And I'm sure that number might be on speed dial on that one on the bus.
I told Dave I'm bringing like a box of his cards. So I was like, as we're lined up against the wall, getting patted down, I'm gonna start sliding them in their front pockets. You know what I mean? Like,
oh man, hey,
actually, I should wear like a T-shirt that says "Call Dave Cherry." My one phone call's to Dave Cherry.
That's right. Rain is in the forecast for the weekend.
So it's funny. So Delco Day is one of my charitable event I do on June 10th, and it was originally calling for a lot of rain this year, and I went out and I bought 700 ponchos, 700 of them for like 12 cents from China. It was like some ridiculously low number for as many ponchos as I had. So now at the studio in the back room in like the storage closet, I have 700 useless ponchos just sitting there. So my wife goes, because she's coming with us. By the way, she was upset you're not coming. I know. I'm not breaking your balls. I'm just saying she was really looking forward to it. Oh, Maddie B. That's all I hear about. Maddie B. Maddie B. Maddie B.
I promise I will get on an event. I will do it. I promise.
No, I'm just kidding. But she goes, "Do you have any?" I'm like, "I don't know. You could pick one of the 700 ponchos that are sitting in the back of the studio." I said, "We got enough. We can hand out to about most of the crowd that's going to be there."
It's going to be a good time, and definitely Philly sports trips. If you missed out on the trip to DC, don't fear, because they're hitting the road on literally every Eagle game this season. just go head over there and just check out what they got. PhillySportsTrips.com. Not only do they got Eagle stuff, but they've already got stuff for next season, spring training, and then some Flyer stuff and Sixer stuff coming up too. So
So
definitely
they have home tailgates as well. That one is there. Did say the one for this past. I gotta
Yeah.
find. He didn't have a generic one, so I'm gonna try to make a generic one out of that. But every home game they will do a tailgate at the Navy Yard Gatehouse, which is like you could literally walk from there to the to the Wells Fargo Center. That's how close it is.
Yeah.
But they still have tickets left for all the away games. So what's nice about it's different prices for different people because I know everybody can't afford. So Arizona, you're like, oh man, Dallas, it's Christmas time, and a lot of us are like, my wife ain't letting me go day before Christmas to Dallas. It'd be like a cold day in hell before that happens for a lot of guys. But you know what? Stocking stuffers because the holidays are coming up. That Giants game coming up in November makes a great stocking stuffer. It's only a few $100, and if you get to go up to the Meadowlands. And let me tell you something: having somebody drive you to the Meadowlands, it's worth its weight in goddamn gold. It is a
That's
shithole to
horrible.
drive up there.
Horrible.
Horrible. It
Yeah.
literally goes from 8 lanes to 2.
Yeah,
Like it looks like a funnel on Google Maps of how stupid the layout of the Meadowlands and MetLife Stadium is.
Yep.
And it is, and I want to tell you right now, I don't ever, and I mean ever, want to hear anybody bash Philadelphia about like cleanliness or anything like that because by the end, like I'll tell you a quick story. I was up in the Meadowlands. I was going when I was younger. Somebody brought us up there. Me and my buddy up there. We drove up there. Part of our payment to drive him up there was tickets to the game. So we drive him up there. Well, he bought these tickets from some not super reputable place, and they double sold the tickets so the people were already in there, and they wouldn't let the two of us in there. So we had to hang out. Luckily, it was a Monday night game, and they had the guys outside, the Fox guys, or not Monday, the Sunday night game, sorry. They had the guys outside, so we watched outside. But I'm going to tell you, I couldn't see my ankles, below my ankles, because there was so much goddamn trash on the ground. It was like 4 inches of solid trash. I watched a guy who broke the windows in a minivan, like some beat up old minivan, just taking a snow shovel and throwing bottles and cans into it. I guess he was like taking it to recycling to make some money. That's how trashy it is.
It's a beautiful place, North Jersey. Definitely a retirement community, and great place to bring up your family. No, North Jersey is a whole, man. It's a whole. It is. It's a lot worse than maybe everything except for Kensington. I would probably say that. But anyway, Star Wars 99 says winning record. I don't know what he's referring to.
That we have a winning record. I mean, what do we end up last year at 500? Right? We'll be
82
above 500.
Yep.
Huh?
We're at 82 and 67 right now.
Yeah. So even if we lose everything,
82 and 82.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I would honestly say 82 and 82 would be a disappointment. Would you not? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but we're going to be well above 500 when we win.
So I think Star Wars 99 is pointing out that we have now eclipsed a winning record. We can do no worse than 500. It's not technically a winning record at 500, but we will not. Second straight year, Al, no losing record. Thank you, Star Wars 99, for bringing that up. That's right. That's official. We will not finish below 500 for the second straight year. That's trending in the right way, right?
And at this rate, I mean, all intents and purposes, we'll be above 500 at the end of this season.
Yeah,
how far above will be a different story.
I agree. And so don't forget, tomorrow night, if you guys got to get out there, these regular season games are coming to an end. Last night was the final dollar dog night of the season. And they are definitely
some of the shots that they had during the game. I'm doing the show with Joe, getting ready. That was actually right before. So the show was at 8:30. So it had to be sometime between 8:15 and 8:30. And they had some like girls, and I use the terms loosely, just like shoveling hot dogs out. I'm like, come on, man. Even I don't want to see this.
Listen, don't rag on Dollar Dog Night, man. That is a money saver.
I love it. I love Dollar Dog Night. I was upset I couldn't go. I'm like, it's always on Wednesdays anymore, so it's never a good time for me. And dude, I love the fact that they have a counter. I mean, they make $18,000 in hot dog sales.
Yeah,
that just goes to show you how ridiculous the money that they make every time they have a game there.
Absolutely. 18,000 in hot dogs a night.
Well, no. But I'm saying is on a dollar dog night they have the counter up there, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
somewhere. The last time I had a dollar dog night, it was 18 something, 18,000 something. So that means they made $18,000 plus in hot dog sales, and you know how cheap hot dogs are. If you went out and bought 18,000 hot dogs at the store, you would probably spend what about $5,000 doing so, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to make yourself $12,000 to $13,000 if you went to the store and just bought Acme and Giant all out of hot dogs. These guys are buying them by the pallet full, so they're making a boatload of money on this dollar hot. Like, and somebody said on one of the terrestrial radio this week they should just make dollar hot dog night for the rest of the Brave series. Get the people out there. Because how many people go to the dollar hot dog night? Let's go get some tickets. Let's go.
And get rid of your surplus for God's sakes. You can't like save that stuff. Get rid of
I'm
it.
sure they order that stuff correctly. I'm not worried about them with their surplus. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you're looking for a little gimmick to pull people in, dollar hot dog night's a big night. I'm not saying to make every night a dollar hot dog night, no matter what. Never sell a hot dog above dollar, because then it kind of loses its luster. But just make the rest of the weekend dollar hot dog night.
So what's a dog normally? It's about $3.50, right?
Yeah, it's like $3.50. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So
If you got a deal with like a soda and a hot dog, you're paying like $13. Give it that way.
Yeah.
And they're buying it by the pallet full, so they're getting it pennies on the dollar, man.
They are. Dave, one last time, the Red Series, they were giving out free water ice after the game was over. We took 4 of them. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, Dave.
Yeah, gotta feed the family somehow.
That's it. All right, Al. Any parting shots for the folks tonight before we head on out?
Guys, go down to the games if you can. I know. Listen, I know it's not cheap, but if you can get down to it, go get some. Listen, 300-400 level tickets are not bad tickets. Go here. Little trade. Check out the trade. Go to 301. Go to 301. Get tickets in there. Probably going to cost you what, $18, give or take. You go hang out with the Pandemic crew. You're gonna have a good old time. I hang out with those guys all the time. It's great. Just go, have fun. Like cheer this team on. If you want this team to do well, you telling me having 25, 30 plus thousand fans screaming their name, cheering them wouldn't work, you're out of your mind. Just for any of us around to remember the 2008, 7, 8, 9, 10, like, dude, it was deafening there on certain nights. Definitely.
It was. And I brought this up a couple of nights ago. What has happened to this, Al? Why don't we do this anymore? Where is this gimmick anymore? Is it a dead art form? I mean, we're not doing this anymore. No rally tales to be spoken of. What? I don't understand.
You would think this weekend they would have some rally tales, especially playing a team like the Braves, a good team, a team that we've hated for however how long, a team who's standing in the way of us, having some postseason bliss. You would think. I agree with you, but the Phillies have been a lot of miscues. Phillies organization has had a lot of miscues lately. So on my weekend, it's so shock and awe, right?
You weren't at that game. You were on the Sunday game, right? That was the early Saturday game with the first pitch. Was that the Sunday game?
Yes, that was the Saturday game. I was at the Sunday game.
Yeah, I was at the Saturday night game, and okay, all right, yeah. I agree. And you know what? This weekend is actually something very sentimental for this show here. This will be our final regular season home game that we'll do the post game for. We did 81 of them, or 61 of them, I guess, whatever it was. And it sucks. It sucks that the season is coming to an end, but it's also really fun that the playoffs and the best time of the year when you got football happening, you got the change in the air, the autumn coming in. And then you got
Matty, even if this goes south after the season, your post games are gonna not be too far gone when we get to announce clear the ice to everybody and
yes, I will be ramping up for a Flyers post game season, but just fine. 82 games is a beast, but 162 that was I love doing it, and I'll be back next year to do it again. But yeah, and I know the 82 game season is going to have all kinds of other things that are going to make it seem a lot longer, and I'm getting ready for that. But You know,
Yeah, the Flyers season is going to look like, outside of the complete pain you'll be through almost every night. It's going to be like, it's going to be a cakewalk. Oh, 2 nights, two. I have to work
oh
2 days this week. You know,
yeah,
like compared to
yeah.
6 or 7.
I got one game in like 9. I got one game in like 5 days. Hey, I'm gold, man. Now,
Yeah.
and then Chuck Fletcher's presser today, obviously announcing essentially announcing Ryan Ellis's retirement. He's never going to play a hockey game for the Flyers ever again. And Sean Couturier will probably miss the entire season with a herniated disc.
Is he almost the Andrew Bynum of the Flyers?
Well, he does have. The Bynum never played a game though, right? Ever?
Yeah, that's why I said almost.
Yeah, we got 4 games out of Ellis before that.
I mean, I guess Ryan Ellis didn't go bowling.
No, and then also some unrelated NHL news, but kind of related to the Ryan Ellis trade, was that Nolan Patrick, who was traded for Ellis, the Nashville, who then sent him to Vegas, he's been ruled out for the rest of the season, as well as obviously his career is. He's also contemplating retirement. It just hasn't worked out for him at all. So, I don't know. It's weird.
It'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm going to be watching these Flyers games like I did every year before. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I know we're off topic here, but like last year, I still watched a lot of games, even though they were bad. Did I finish them all? Not really. Like, I wasn't staying up late. I'm not missing anything for a Flyers game, because that's the kind of product they put out there.
No, and so the Flyers will, even though they say they're not good, say they get out to a bad start, from October to President's Day weekend will still be okay, because it's kind of hockey time, right? That's hockey season, and I'll be okay. It's that stretch run from President's Day weekend in mid-February to the end of the season in mid-April, when then the Phillies are going to come converging in, and baseball is going to be out there, and the Flyers are 50 games out of first place. It's going to be going to be a bear, man.
It's going to be a bear. You're going to have the Phillies. And then think about it. We'll have 3 post-game shows going between Sixers, Flyers, and Phillies.
And nobody will be watching the Flyers. I'll be the speed bump in between my own Phillies show and after the Sixers.
You should start if it gets real bad, you should just start making shit up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Start going, oh, well, Chuck Fletcher came down and played tonight.
Yeah.
There's too many injuries, so Chuck Fletcher hit the ice. Like, hey, according to EOP, Chuck Fletcher played tonight. See if anybody's even paying attention.
I will definitely probably start the Connor Bednard stat night when we look at his games, because obviously he's the next second coming. He should be the next prodigy that enters the NHL next year. And if all things go well and we tank and we're bad and somehow we get lucky and get the first overall pick, obviously he'd be a game changer. But for a team that's been in existence for over 50 years and has only gotten the first overall pick once in 50 years, in that time, that I'm not really getting excited about that either. But
I got you.
But all right, folks, it is always a pleasure, and hopefully we kept you guys going for about an hour, talking some Phillies and mixing some other things in. Don't forget, join us tomorrow, or join me back here tomorrow, as we'll talk some more Phillies and Braves. And I'm sure that Al will grace us with his presence before the season has complete. And all the times that he's come on, I think, Al, you might be leading the way.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you've been leading the way, so I definitely highly appreciate it. So I'm Matty B.
I'm Big Al.
And I think we're done, except for one thing. Oh, yeah, Harry the K, what you got?
He had high apple pie in the sky.